Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Gabriel, your ICT tutor. In this video, we'll be looking at Paper 3 of Cambridge IGCSE ICT paper. This is Paper 3, it's a practical paper. Typically, it has spreadsheets and website authoring. Okay, I'm starting with the spreadsheet part of this. It is Paper 3, October-November 2025. It lasts for 2 hours, 15 minutes. Now, let's start with the spreadsheet part. I told you that the total mark for this paper is 70, as you can see. So I'm starting with the spreadsheet part. You have been supplied with the following source files: badge, logo, rafter, stock, CC, HTML, tc.jpg, and tc1.css. All right, even though they have the same file name, but their file extensions are different. You work for Tawara Construction and will develop a spreadsheet to calculate the length and costs of timber rafters used to build a roof. Typically, you can see this is the image of a roof. You can see the rafter and you can see the overhang. All right, see the distance. The timber is supplied in standard lengths from 2.4 to 6 meters. That is standard length of the timbers. So it means that whatever length you might need in this construction, you have a standard length from 2.4 to 6 meters. Then let's start with task 1, evidence document. Create a new work process document. Make sure your name, center number, and candidate number appears on every page of this document. Save this evidence document in your work area as N2503 evidence underscore, followed by your sender number. For example, like this, center number, candidate number. Okay, good. You will need your evidence document during the examination to place screenshots when required. So let's get that done. Get the evidence document. So I will do that here. No, I will create a document file and I'll call it evidence as instructed N2503 evidence underscore center number underscore candidate number. So I'm using 001 as my candidate number. So then open it. All right, then I can insert the header so that it carries candidate's name, center number, and candidate number. All right, so close header. So it means that the name, center number, and candidate number appears on every page as I have it here. Then the next instruction, okay, that is done. So this is task 2, the actual spreadsheet. Open and examine the file n25 rafter.csv. Okay, to examine it, I'm going to open it, rafter. Here is the file. You can see the arrangement of the file. So place your name, center number, and candidate number right aligned in the header. So I go to insert, I go to text, header, right align, name, center number, candidate number, right align, name, candidate's name, center number, candidate number, right aligned. That is done. Then what else? Save this as a spreadsheet with file name rafter followed by your sender number underscore candidate number, for example, just like this. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. So I click out, go to file, go to save as, and it will be saved in the folder. So save it, center number, then candidate number. I am using 001 for example. So since they ask us to save it, you save it as Excel workbook. Then I'll save it. So I have that. You can click on normal view. Okay, good. Then the next thing is place in cells A20 to E36 the content of the file N25 stock. So for me to do that, I will need to open this file N25 stock. It is very important. So I'm placing that in this portion. So before I do anything at all, I'm going to open that file N25 stock. Open. Right click on it. Open. Here is the content. So the question says copy, place in cell A20 to E36 the content of the file. So I'm going to copy the content of the file, select it, then right click to copy. Then I will go to the other file, which is rafter. So where am I placing it? I'm placing it in cells A20 to E36, cells A20. So I'll come to A20, right click and say paste. So it will be pasted in cell A20 to E36. You can see E36, that's correct. So having done that, I'll go to the next one. The question says do not change the data, so I'm not going to tamper with the data. Then number 3, place a formula in cell B6 to convert the length of the overhang from millimeters to meters. And that conversion will be done by dividing the number of millimeters by 1000. So the instruction is here. So I go to cell B6. Okay, go to cell B6. All right, to do the conversion, and the instruction has given us that I'm going to divide the millimeters by 1000. Okay, so I'll come here, equals, this is the length in millimeter, you can see mm, divide by 1000. All right, good. So I have that in meters. Then the next one is place a formula in cell B9 to calculate the length of the rafter in meters, where the length of the rafter is given as this: length of overhang in meter plus the square root of width of roof over 2 squared plus height of roof in meter squared. Now there is a hint here. You may use SQRT function to calculate the square root within this formula. So that is straightforward, and this is an 8-mark question, so we need to do it carefully. Now let's go. So let me just paste this here so that I don't need to be switching between windows for me to carry out this task. So then I'll go to, according to the question, say length to calculate, place a formula in cell B9. So I go to cell B9. So the formula I'm placing is equals to length of overhang in meter. Length of overhang in meter is this, that is B6. Then plus, then I have the square root from here. So that will make me open square root SQRT. There's a function called square root. It returns the square root of a number. So I'll select that. Then within the square root, I have width of root. So I'm going to open another bracket, which will be for width of root. So my width of roof is this, and that is divide by 2. Divide by 2. Close the bracket. then I'll find the square of that. Square of that is this. Okay, now still within the square root plus, then I open another bracket for that, height of roof. So my height of roof in meter is this, and that is squared also. So I'm going to use this symbol on the keyboard to find the square, and I'll close that. So having closed that, so I have completed all of this. Then the question, I will now close the outer bracket so that will be added to this B6, which is the length of overhang. Then I press the enter key. So I got that. So this is what I got for that. So this is good. Then the next instruction is a rafter is cut from a standard size with waist kept to a minimum. So the int in this statement is here. So if we have standard length for the rafter, so then they said it's cut from a standard size with waist kept to a minimum. So whatever waist we want to have, we should be to the minimum level. So to get this step 5 done, place in cell B10 a formula to look up the minimum standard length needed to make the rafter. This is a 6-mark question. So we need to do this carefully. Now, going back to that spreadsheet, place in cell B10. Now, here is B10. If you look at what we are looking for, length of rafter that we want to actually construct or make is what we have in B9. Now, if you see all the standard lengths, we have them here: 2.4, 2.7, 3, 3.3, 3.6, 3.9. So it means that, and they told us from the instruction that a rafter is cut from a standard size with waist kept to a minimum, meaning that if the rafter we want to make is 3.5, there's no point for us to get standard length of 4.2, since we want to make 3.5. So we should make 3.6. We should cut from the standard length of 3.6. By so doing, we actually need 3.5. So the waist would have been kept to the minimum, which is 0.1. Now, if we wanted to get rafter of 3.5 and then we cut from the standard length of 4.2, now the remaining portion, by the time we subtract 3.5 from 4.2, we will still be having about 1 meter length of the standard length that will be wasted. So the way we can do this such that we reduce waste is what we look for, and that capacity is in X lookup. You know, we have different kind of lookup functions. We have X lookup, we have V lookup, we have H lookup, we have lookup. Now, the best one in this case, because of those aspects we want to consider, then we make use of X lookup. Now, for us to use X lookup, let me show you this, how the X lookup looks. Now, coming here, equal to, then let me go to formula, and under lookup, let me go look for X lookup so that we can see all the arguments of X lookup. Now, if you look at the X lookup, it has the following argument: lookup value, lookup array, return array. If not found, what should return? This is actually optional. Then the match mode. All right, this is also optional because if you didn't pick any mode, you will pick the default mode. Now you have seen the possible arguments that we have in an X lookup function. So I'm going to use that to solve this question now. So let's start from that. So I'll start equals X lookup. So I pick it. Now the first argument is lookup value. Since we want to make for length of rafter, we want to know the length for the rafter we want to make. So this will be our lookup value, comma. Then our lookup array. This is where we have the list of all the standard lengths. So it's going to be our lookup array, and that will be from A24 to A36. All right, after the lookup array, the next argument is return array. Now, one thing about XLOOKUP is that the lookup array can also double as the return array. So we want to know, using this as lookup value 3.368, so which one is the closest to this? So we want to return that from this same array. So this will repeat as our return array. So I'm going to pick that again as our return array. You see that? Then we go to if not found, what should we do? Since the question did not tell us to do anything, so we are going to skip that. It's actually optional. So we just put a comma. Then the next thing is match mode. This is where we need to be sensitive. The match mode we have here, if we pick 0, that will exact match. But you know we are working in approximate match because we may not see the exact match. Look at it, for example. Length of rafter is 3.368. And if you look from here, we don't have 3.36. So we don't need exact match. So if you go for the next one, exact match or next smaller. If you go for the next smaller, which will be maybe by the time we return it, we'll get 3. What will compensate for the remaining 0.36? So because of that, we go to the next one, which is exact match or next larger. So we are going to pick the next larger here, which will be 1. Then after that, match mode. Our match mode is search from first to last, so in a sequential pattern. So we are going to pick that. Then I've picked search mode, and that's the last argument here. So I can now close the bracket and see what I will get. Now you see it returned 3.6. Why? Because if you search through this from 2.4 to 2.7 to 3, because that's the kind of search mode we pick, we search from first to last. So after 3.3, after 3, the next one is 3.3. And after 3.3, the next one is 3.6. And that's why we got 3.6 here, because we actually need 3.36. So that means if we return 3.3, it won't be long enough to get exactly the rafter we are looking for. So that's why we pick that. I think that is clear now. So let me remove this since I'm not using this again. So we have done that part. Let's go to the next instruction. The next instruction is place in cell B11 a validation rule to restrict data entry to only the sizes listed in row 21. Data must be selected from a drop-down list. So let's go to row 21. Let's see what we have there. In row 21, okay, we have this. Okay, so we want to pick from this and we want to place that in this size of timber in mm. You can see this size is in mm. All these sizes are in mm. So we want to do that. To do the validation, validation is actually the process of ensuring data that is captured meets certain criteria, or that data captured is sensible. So we want to do that in cell B11. So I'll be here in B11. So then I will go to validation. So I click on data, then I locate validation. Where is validation? Here is validation. So data validation, I click on that. Now, instead of having under settings, instead of having any value, I'll click list so that I have a drop-down list. Now, you see the next one, which is source. The source of my list should be from where? So I'm going to click from this row 21 according to the instruction. Then after that, I will click in cell drop down. You see this is checked because the instruction says it should be checked. It should be in cell drop down. So I will say okay. In case they ask for input message or error alert, so you can also pick that from here. So I will say okay. Now if I click here now, you can see and I have what's the data in row 21 in a drop down list. Now what else is the question saying? Say place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the validation rule with the criteria used. So what I will do is that while I still click on this, I'll go to data, I'll go to data validation, then I'm going to take a screenshot of this to show that I have picked that. So they will see the source to be E21 to E21, that particular row, then it's in drop down list, then it is you can see the cell drop down checked. So I will take the screenshot this way and I paste it in my evidence document. So I can call it evidence 1 year, then I paste that here. So that is good. Then I go back to my question. So let's go to step 7. Place in cell B12 a formula to look up the cost of the standard length calculated in step 5. So in step 5, we calculated the standard length. Okay, so in cell B12 now, we want to place a formula to look up another lookup the cost of the standard length calculated in step 5 using the size of timber selected in B11. So that means we are having nested formula. Okay, and that is why the mark allotted to it is 9 marks. So it's something we need to do carefully so that we can get it right. So let's start. Cell B12, I go there. Let me say okay with this. Cell B12. So we want to use let me take the screenshot of this so that I have it there. I don't need to be switching up and down, just to have it there. Okay, I'll remove this after I'm done with this question. So place in cell B12, so we have created a drop down list here, so I can pick any one here. You see that? So then let me start with the first one. So in cell B12, place a formula to look up the cost of the standard length. So let's go to the standard length array. You can see the cost. So if we pick 2.4 for standard length, the cost will be $10.53 if the size is 125 by 50. What if the size is 150 by 50? The cost will change to this. And if it is this, it will change to this. If it is 200 by 50, it will change to this. You can see that. So we need to be careful to do this. So if you look at this arrangement from here, the data is arranged vertically. You can see that because we can see the arrangement of the data vertically. You can see the heading of this. But if you look at this, the data is arranged horizontally. You can see that horizontally. So now let's start with this. So place in cell B12 a formula to look up the cost of the standard length. So let me use VLOOKUP for that. VLOOKUP. Now my lookup value will now be this to look up the cost of the standard length calculated in step 5. So if I want to do that, step 5 standard length will be this, okay, which is B10. So if I pick that, my table array, if I've picked this, will now be from here to this, my table array, then comma. My column index number would have been, am I talking about this? How would I know column index number? So column index number, it is the number that will show me the position of the column. Then I will come to this. Since the question says we should make reference to the sizes here, so the best thing I can do is, since the sizes are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'd rather use an HLOOKUP for that. HLOOKUP, and my lookup value will now be whatever that is here. So my table array will be this. This will now be my table array for that. Then after my table array, the next thing is row index number. My row index number will now be, so my row index number will be row 2. Okay, you can see this is row 1 of the selection. This is row 2. Okay, so I'm going to pick 2. The row index number will be row 2 in this selection. As you can see, this is row 2, so I'll pick row 2. Then the next thing is a comma. Then the range lookup will be false. That's exact match. So I can put 0 or just click on exact match false. So I'll close this. With this closed, then what I'm looking for, you see that in this selection, you can see from here, I selected from here to this. I selected from here to this. So this place for the H lookup is already less than 1 in terms of number of columns. Now, I can compensate for that 1 by adding +1 to this so that I can finish the column index number for this, and I'll put comma. Then the comma will return me back to the VLOOKUP I started with. So the remaining argument for the VLOOKUP is actually range lookup, which is also exact match false. Okay, then I will close the entire formula, then I press enter. So I got this. That means when I pick 125 by 50, and I will have 125 by 50, then the cost will be what? For 3.6, the cost will be 14.81. So when I change it also from 125 by 50, let me change it to 200 by 50. 200 by 50 for 3.6. Okay, you will see that. Okay, let me highlight this to use it to explain it. Okay, good. So this is the standard length. So now I have picked 200 by 50. So I should get what? 15.41 as the cost. Can you see that? 15.41. So if I change it also from here to maybe 175 by 50. So 175 by 50, can you see it should be, the cost should be 15.21. And that is what I have here, 15.21. That's cost per meter. Now, what if I did not put this +1 I put here? Let me remove the +1 because I know many candidates will ask me why I had 1 here. Let me remove the 1 here. Okay. When I remove the 1, when the size of timber is 175 by 50, 175 by 50, and my standard length is 3.6, 175, the cost should be 15.21, right? Now, see what we have here, 15.01, 15.01. So that means it's less of 1. That is, it's less of 1. You can see that if I change it also from here, 150 by 50, 150 by 50, I'm supposed to get 15.01. Let's see what we have, 14.81. So can you see 14.81 instead of 15.01? So that means it's less of 1. And it was that one we compensated for by putting +1 for this H lookup, because the H lookups actually start from here and end here. Because from the H lookup, you see the arrangement, the H lookup, this is the H lookup we use. So it's not this, you know, in mathematics, there's something they call left hand side equals right hand side. So the number of selection we made for the H lookup is less of 1. And that is why we are compensating that for that one by putting +1 to end the H lookup, +1, so that we can have correct answers. I think that is clear enough. Step 8. The next instruction says merge cells A1 to B1. Merge cells A1 to B1. Now we are in the stage of formatting merge A1 to B1. So I'm going to select this, go to merge and center. That is done. Then the next one is format this merge cell with a white 18-point sans serif font on a black background. Sans serif 18, white, black background. Okay, sans serif. An example of sans serif is Arial. So let me use Arial. Okay, Arial, good. Then the next one is format rows 1. We have done this. Okay, sorry, merge cells A3 to B3 too. A3 to B3. Okay. Format rows 1 to 4 of the spreadsheet to look like this. Rows 1 to 4. Let me do what I did the other time for 4 marks. Okay. Just to have it here. And this. All right. Format rows 1 to 4 to look like this. So you can see Tawara construction. So then I will reduce row 2 a bit. All right. Then I'll reduce row 4 also. Good. Then you see this is like this. Look at what else. Everything is intact, I guess. All right. So center align, center and middle align, center and middle align. You see that? Okay, good. So what's the next instruction? And that is for 4 marks. That's for 4 marks. Okay. Save your spreadsheet. So let me save that. I click on save. So I can remove this for now. Then the next instruction is print your spreadsheet showing the formulae. Make sure that the printout is in landscape orientation, row and column headings are displayed, and then content of all cells are fully visible. Okay, content of all cells are fully visible. So I'm going to do this landscape orientation. Let me go. So I go to page layout, landscape orientation. Okay, good. Then the paper size is A4, even though that was not included in the instruction. Row and column heading displayed. So then I will go to row and column heading. So I go to print titles. Under tab sheets, I'll pick row and column headings. I'll check it and I'll say okay. Then I'll go to formulas. Then I'll click on show formulas so that it can display all the formula used in this spreadsheet. Now, having selected that, I'll select this, then I'll double click here for auto fit adjustments. Okay, what else? Print your spreadsheet showing the formula. So I'll go to print preview to see the way it will look. I'll go to print preview, print preview. All right, you can see it's looking like this. Then I can see all of that showing. Let me go remove the background color. I put the instruction did not say I should do that. I only use that for emphasis. Okay, no fill. All right, good. What else? Be sure that you have done everything the question says. Spreadsheet showing the formula. Make sure print in landscape orientation, row and column headings are displayed. Content of all cells are fully visible for 2 marks. So let me go back to print preview, file, print preview. Here's the print preview. All right, so you can see the print preview in landscape orientation. You can see. All right, I think this is good enough. This is good enough. So what's the next instruction? Let's check the next instruction. Then the next instruction says that print the spreadsheet showing the values. All right, since you are satisfied and it matches with what the instruction is saying, you can now print. So with this, I'll just click on the print button. Now the next thing is print the spreadsheet showing the values. Now to show the values, so I'll go to formulas. I'll click on show formulas again to show the value. So I'll select this again. Then print fit on a single page. Printout is in portrait orientation. Row and column headings not displayed. Content of all cells are fully visible. So I'm going to change all of this. So I'll go to page layout, orientation, portrait. because that's the instruction. So I'll select from here, then double click here for auto fit contents. So then fit row and column headings not displayed. So I click on this, uncheck this, go to preview. You can see that this is beautiful. You can see everything's showing. Okay, just one page. All right, so then I'll print that as the value. So I'll click on print button here. Then the next one is model this spreadsheet to find the cost of a rafter using 175 by 50 timber for a roof with a width of 3.5 meters, then height of 1.75 meters, and overhang of 300 millimeters. So we said print the spreadsheet showing the values. Make sure that the printout fit on a single page, is in portrait orientation, row and column headings are not displayed, content of all cells, A1, only A1 to B12 are printed and fully visible. And this is for 3 marks. So let me quickly model that. Let me just copy this and do it like the other time. I'll come here. Let me paste it first. Okay, so that I don't need to be switching between windows. Just to make sure I manage my time very well and not missing out on any point. Okay, so with this, I can do that now. So model the spreadsheet to find the cost of a rafter using 175 by 50 timber. So I'm going to click 175 by 50 timber, 1. Then a width of 3.5 meters. A width of 3.5 meters. Let me move this up. So a width of 3.5 meter. So this is width in meter, 3.5 meter. So I'm going to put 3.5 meter for the width, 3.5 meter. Then a height, oh, sorry, 3.5. Then a height of 1.75, 1.75. Then an overhang of 300 millimeters. Overhang, okay, millimeter. So that will be this, 300. Okay, good. That is beautiful. Now, having done that, print the spreadsheet showing the values. Showing the values. So here I have the value. You can see the calculation here. Then print out it on a single page in portrait orientation. Row and column headings are not displayed, and content of only cells A1 to B12 are printed. So when you hear that A1 to B12, so I'm going to select A1 to B12, nothing is hidden. So let me delete this for now. A1 to B12, I have that. So I'll go to page layout, print titles, no row and column headings according to the instruction. So I'll go to print preview. All right. Then instead of under settings, instead of print active sheet, it will be print selection. So it is the part I selected alone that will be printed. You can see that. So you can see, all right, 300 millimeter, 1.7 of height, and 3.5 of width, and that is what I have. And the size of timber is 175 by 50. So the cost per meter will be $12.99 dollars, and that is what I have done here. So this is the printout of the model, and that is for 3 marks. Okay, and in total 40 marks. And that is how we have come to the end of the spreadsheet of October-November 2025 paper 3, the spreadsheet part. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. We'll attend to it as fast as possible. Please like this video, share with other people, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any important upload. Thank you. Bye for now.